Welcome, my dear student, in our math program for secondary 3. Dear student, today we are taking a new lesson in dynamic. What is the title? Momentum. What is the meaning of the momentum? Momentum is product of mass and velocity. If a body which has m mass and velocity v, product of the mass and the velocity is called momentum. Dear student, look at introduction about momentum. أعزائي طلبة وطلبات شهادة الثانوية العامة قسم رياضيات، أهلا بكم. النهارده هناخد درس جديد في الديناميكا اسمه كمية الحركة. كمية حركة جسيم أو أي جسم، طبعا احنا عارفين علم الديناميكا اسمه علم الحركة. في علم الحركة هندرس جسم له كتلة، الكتلة دي هنسميها M أو م، لها سرعة. حاصل ضرب الكتلة في متجه السرعة هيساوي كمية الحركة بتاع الجسم ده. يبقى إذا أردنا معرفة كمية حركة جسيم لابد إن نعرف حاجتين: كتلة الجسيم أو كتلة الجسم في السرعة. سرعة لها اتجاهات، طبعا هي السرعة ديت دالة بالنسبة للزمن، أما الكتلة ليست دالة. فكمية الحركة هنسميها الحاصل ضرب الكتلة في متجه السرعة. أتمنى إن احنا نوفق في هذا الدرس إن شاء الله. Momentum. What is the meaning of momentum, dear student? Momentum of a moving body is a vector quantity of the same direction of the velocity of this body. Dear student, momentum of a body or moving body is a vector quantity. Why? Because the velocity is vector. Momentum is product of m or mass times velocity. When we have a body moving, momentum is a vector quantity of the same direction of the velocity of this body. Its magnitude at momentum is estimated by product of mass. The momentum vector is symbol h vector. H vector equal m times v. What is the v? Velocity. Dear student, we have two vectors, momentum vector and velocity vector. If we multiply m times v, we find the value of momentum. Remember, dear student, momentum of any body, it's a vector of multiply by mass times direction velocity or velocity vector. In this case, dear student, of the rectilinear motion, h momentum and v velocity are parallel to straight line on which the motion occurs. H of momentum h and velocity v can be expressed in terms of algebraic term. What is the algebraic term? H equals mv. We have two equations. The first equation is vector h equals m times vector v. In this case, h and v in the same direction, but by algebraic measure, momentum is m times v. Momentum is called h or its symbol h. V velocity, m mass. M mass of the body, but v velocity of the body. When multiply m times v, we deduce the value of momentum. Measuring of units of momentum, the magnitude of unit of momentum is equals mass unit times velocity unit. Remember, dear student, we have measuring unit of mass with kilogram weight or gram weight, but velocity is centimeter per second or meter per second or kilometer per hour. Mass unit is kilogram, but velocity in this case meter per second. When multiply unit of mass times unit of velocity, we reduce units of momentum. Momentum units kilogram dot meter per second. Remember, dear student, unit of momentum equal unit of mass times unit of velocity. What is the unit of mass? Is kilogram. What is the unit of velocity? Meter per second. Then the unit of momentum equals m kilogram times v meter per second equal kilogram meter per second. Remember, dear student, when we find unit of momentum, we find momentum units by using product of unit of mass times unit of velocity. Dear student, look at the first example. Calculate the momentum of a bike whose mass is 35 kilogram and moves in a uniform speed of magnitude 12 meter per second towards east. Dear student, remember, we have bike, its mass 35 kilogram. This bike moves uniform speed. What is the meaning of uniform speed? Uniform speed, the bike moves equal distance in equal time. Then, when we find the momentum of this bike, we multiply the mass times what? X and student, V. What is the uniform velocity or uniform speed? Is 12 meter per second towards east. Look at the solution. Remember, dear student, we have momentum equal mv. Algebraic measure of momentum equals h equals mass m times v, velocity or algebraic measure of the velocity direction. Then we multiply m equal 35 times 12. Answer is 420 kilogram meter per second. This is towards east. Why? Because direction of momentum is the same direction of the velocity. Dear student, this example represents momentum of a bike. If you have a bike, has mass and velocity. If you want to find the value of momentum, you multiply mass times velocity. What is the mass? Mass of the bike is 35. What is the velocity? Is 12 meter per second. Remember, speed in this case uniform speed. What is the meaning of uniform speed, dear student? Uniform speed means a bike moves equal distance in equal time. As example, when a bike moves each 50 meters in 5 seconds, this is uniform speed. After that, find the value of momentum by multiply the value of mass times value of the velocity. Dear student, look at another example. Another example, dear student, a car of mass 2 tons moves in a straight line such as its equation x vector 3t squared minus 4t squared plus 1 in unit vector c, where c unit vector in direction of motion of the car. If x measured in meter, what is the x distant? Distant which the moves. Find the magnitude of momentum of the car when it starts to more than after 3 seconds of its motion. Remember, dear student, the required in this example, find the magnitude of momentum of the car when its or car starts to move, then after 3 seconds of its motion. Solution. Dear student, in this case we have x. What is the x? The distance or displacement vector equal is relation between x and t. X is function of t. What is the x? 3t squared minus 4t squared minus 4t plus 1. 3t squared minus 4t plus 1. Dear student, when you find v, what is the velocity differentiation of x? dx over dt, x 6t or dx over dt 6t minus 4. Remember, dear student, when we find beginning of the motion, t equals 0. A car at the beginning of the motion, in this case time equals 0. By substitution about t equals 0, we find the velocity equals what? Negative 4c direction. Remember, dear student, beginning of the motion, in this case the time equals 0. By substitution about t equals 0 in the relation, we find the velocity equals negative 4 in direction c. What is the momentum of this car? Equals m times v. Momentum h vector equals m vector times v m mass times v vector. What is the m? 2 ton. We convert 2 tons to kilogram equals 2,000. Then h equals 2,000 times negative 4c direction. Answer is negative 8,000 c. Then what is the magnitude of momentum? In this case, we choose the positive 8,000 kilogram meter per second. Remember, dear student, in this example, convert 2 ton to kilogram, 2,000 kilogram. After that, we multiply 2,000 multiply negative 4 equal negative 8,000. But magnitude of momentum is or must be equals absolute. Negative 8,000 is 8,000 kilogram meter per second. Second case, when t equal 3 seconds. By substitution about t equal 3 in velocity, then v equal 6 times 3 minus 4 in direction c. Answer is 14c. In this case, dear student, we find the momentum vector h equals mv vector. By substitution about v equal 14c, then and m equal 2,000, then 2,000 multiply 14c equals 28,000 in direction c, or magnitude of momentum equal 28,000 kilogram meter per second. Remember, dear student, in this example, we find the velocity at the first from x by using differentiation of x. After that, we convert differentiation dx over dt to find the value of v after multiply the mass of the car 2000 multiply the velocity 4c equals 8000 kilogram meter per second. Then we deduce that momentum of a car which its mass 2 ton moves with a velocity 4 equals 28,000 kilogram meter per second. Now, dear student, we are translate into another title of momentum. What is the another title? Change of momentum. What is the meaning of a change of momentum? Change of momentum equal change of velocity times m. Why? Because m not vector, but velocity is a vector. We have a change of velocity. Change of momentum depends on change of the velocity. Why? Because h equal mv. M is number, constant, but v is direction. Then what is the depend on momentum, change of momentum? Yes, excellent student. Depend on vector v, but not depend on m. dh equals m dv. dv, change of the velocity. M is mass of moving a body, but delta v is value of its velocity. Therefore, change of momentum of the body equals what? We represent delta h equals m times bracket contains v2 minus v1. What you mean v2 minus v1? Means change of the velocity. Remember, dear student, when we find the change of the momentum, we find m times v2 minus v1. If acceleration at is acceleration of the body, we know that delta h equals k constant multiply integration of a delta t, definite integration t1 t2 a t. When we find delta h by using acceleration as a first, we find the velocity by integration from acceleration. After that, k is constant multiply integration of a respect to t to find the value of t. Dear student, this rule is very important when you find a change of momentum of any body and we have acceleration. Remember, acceleration is derivative of velocity. If we have acceleration, we must find the velocity. What is the velocity? Is integration of acceleration. When we find v, we find integration of a respect to t. After that, by product of v times mass or mass of the body, we move or we find the value of delta h. Remember, h equals mv. What is the h? Is momentum. What is the m? Mass of the body. What is the v? Velocity of this body. Remember, we have two directions, h and v. H is a change depends on, it's a change depends on change of the v. Dear student, look at the important example. Look at, dear student, rubber ball of mass 200 gram is led to fall on horizontal surface up from a height of 90 centimeter to rebound up to a height 40 centimeter. Calculate using kilogram meter per second unit the magnitude of change of momentum of the ball as a result of impact. Dear student, look at the solution. We have rubber ball. Rubber ball, its mass 200 gram, led to fall on horizontal surface. We have, look at rubber ball at up, V naught equals 0. Why? Because V naught, we fall the rubber ball. When start from fall, then initial velocity or V naught equals 0. G gravity force is 980 centimeter per second or 9.8 meter per second square. The distance between the rubber and the horizontal surface is 90 centimeter. Look at direction of rubber ball is down. Why? Because rubber ball is drop or fall the surface of land. After that, the rubber ball is rebound up with distance 40 centimeter and G 980 centimeter per second square to reach the maximum height. Maximum height means velocity or final velocity is equal 0. Remember, dear student, this example very important. Look at the example, the figure of the example. We use third rule of Newton law. V2 square, V square equal V naught square plus 2GS. Why? Because when a ball or rubber ball is dropped or fall on the surface, the magnitude of G is positive. But when rebound, the rubber ball rebound up, then G is negative. V square equal V naught square plus 2GS. What is the value of V naught? 0. By substitution, about V naught equals 0, G 980 centimeter, and the distance is 90. We find the value of the final velocity. By using substitution, then V square equal 0 plus 2 times 9.8 times 90. By using square root, then V equals 420 centimeter per second. Remember, dear student, we have two motion, down and up. When the rubber ball is full, the final velocity or the velocity when the rubber ball reach to surface of the horizontal is 420 centimeter per second. But when start from the full, V naught or initial velocity equals 0. After that, the rubber ball is rebound up with velocity 420 is initial velocity when return up with distance to reach the distance 40 centimeter with gravity force 980 centimeter and final velocity is equal 0. V equals 0. In the second case of rebound, look at v square equal v naught square plus 2gs. v square, the final velocity of the rubber ball, is 0. By substitution about v square or final equals 0 and v2 square minus 2 times 9.8 times 40. This rule, note that, dear student, when the rubber up, then the gravity force with negative sign. In this case, we find V2 by using square root. We find velocity 280 centimeter per second. Dear student, remember change of momentum. What is the change of momentum? Change of momentum equals delta H equals m times bracket contains change of to velocity. Velocity v2 minus v1 by substitution about v2 minus v1 and substitution about mass 200. Remember, mass of the body or rubber ball is 200 gram. We convert 200 gram to 1000 divided by 1000 to convert to kilogram. Then delta H equals mv2 minus v1 by substitution m equals 200 over 1000 multiply bracket contains negative 2.8 minus 4.2 equals what? Negative 1.4 in direction C. What is the momentum? Absolute is 1.4 kilogram meter per second. Dear student, by the end of the lesson, we find delta H, a change of the velocity, times m or mass of the body. Dear student, I am very happy to spend such time with you. Goodbye. أعزائي طلبة وطلبات شهادة الثانوية العامة، درس اليوم كان على كمية الحركة، وعرفنا أن كمية الحركة تتوقف على التغير في السرعة، التغير في كمية الحركة تتوقف على تغير في السرعة. ليه؟ لأن كمية الحركة بتساوي الكتلة في السرعة، فأي تغيير في السرعة تتوقف عليه تغير في كمية الحركة. أتمنى أن احنا نكون وفقنا اليوم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.